Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who, in order to stop a bloodbath, is joining me for this trailer talk. It's David Cross.
Let's ride!
Let's ride. Oh, man. Listen, so if you've been listening to MFF for a while, David joined us on our famous video episode where Megan, David, Adam, and I barbecued and drafted our favorite characters from the Fast and Furious franchise. David and I have also talked a lot of Fast and Furious in the past, and we've dedicated 3 years, coming up a fourth episode, to Bloodshot. We're talking about doing Babylon AD. We're Vin Dieselers. We've just talked a lot of Fast and Furious, and so with the Fast X trailer, Fast 10 trailer, it's Fast 10, like Fast 10 your seatbelts, coming out, it's released. We needed to absorb it for a few weeks. So we absorbed it for a few weeks, got into our bloodstreams, and now we're going to talk about it. And David, I want to posit something kind of interesting to you. I was watching this trailer, and Rita Moreno, Brie Larson, Charlize Theron, Helen Mirren, they have 9 Oscar nominations between them, and each of them has an Oscar. And they're in Fast 10, the 10th entry of an absurd franchise. And you have 4 incredible actors who all have Oscars and a combined 9 nominations between the 4 of them. That's pretty nuts, man.
Especially from the beginning of the series when it was, just to get attractive people on screen, and now it's like award winners.
I mean,
but none of them are men, right? It's all
women.
Women.
Women, yeah.
I mean, does Michael Rooker have a nom somewhere? Probably does.
I don't think so, but I do find it interesting that Vin Diesel is pulling a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy or James Gunn's people. So he has Daniel Melchior from the Suicide Squad. He's pulled John Cena. He's pulled Michael Rooker. He's pulled a lot. Jaimin Hunsu was in Furious 7. He has pulled a lot of James Gunn's crew in this, which kind of makes me happy. It just seems like a lot of people from the Suicide Squad are joining Fast 10. And this trailer, man, it's kind of lovely because I was reading this interview with Louis Leterrier, who is the new director of this. I mean, this is the guy who also did Transporter. He also did Unleashed, Transporter 2, Incredible Hulk, Clash of the Titans, Now You See Me. He directed The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance for Netflix. He directed Lupin, which is a beautiful show. And he just did The Takedown, which is a really fun French action film. I was reading an interview with him, and he said that, he was doing this interview, and someone said that Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, looks like a psychotic flamenco dancer. And he said that, there are moments between takes when Vin was very focused, almost like a driver before the race. Then you would hear Jason arrive. It's like having a circus. You heard him walking here like he had a boombox and a guy with him slapping an electric bass. That was the vibe.
All right. So yeah, polar opposites. I do have something I want to share with you that I noticed. So Momoa's character has on some fancy jackets throughout the entire piece. And what do fancy jackets have? Long sleeves. What does Dom wear? No fancy jackets, no sleeves. They're setting them up to be polar opposites.
Whoa. He always has sleeves.
Jackets. He has a lot of cool jackets in this trailer.
Wow. And then there's Dom in his sleeveless shirts.
Yep.
Polar opposites.
Three different sleeveless shirts from the trailer. So he has at least 3 wardrobe changes.
And I want to tell you something amazing I think you're really going to like. I'm doing an assignment for Fandom. When the Honest trailer comes out for Fast 10, I'm going to have a video called By the Numbers that's going to do tons of data from the Fast franchise. So I've just had to watch all the Fast movies frame by frame. And I during that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch every Vin Diesel movie, and I'm going to pull all the timestamps of when he wears a sleeveless shirt. And I've been going through his entire filmography, tracking which sleeveless shirts he wears in each movie, if he does or not, how many of them, which ones. So I'm going to have an entire Vin Diesel sleeveless shirt data post coming out soon, covering all of his movies and the times.
Did he wear a sleeveless shirt in The Pacifier?
He did not. He wore a lot of white shirts in that one. And so there's only a few where he has it. I'll save it for the data post. Maybe you and I can just talk about it. But right now, I've found 7 films where he hasn't worn a sleeveless shirt.
Barry Lyndon's Long Halftime Walk.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about one very soon, which you're going to watch. But yeah, it's been fun tracking it. It's I have them all color-coded. I'm like, that's an athleisure's. That's like a sport tank top. That's not like a undershirt tank top. It's a sleeveless shirt with the sleeves cut off, or it's a sleeveless shirt without sleeves, no sleeves cut off, or it's a button-up shirt that's had the sleeves removed. So I have an entire color coded list of all of his sleeveless shirt moments.
Could you imagine being the set director or what's it called? Costume director on these shows? Okay, we need, I don't know, 100 sleeveless shirts for Vin. It's just, what do we do with the extra sleeves? I don't know.
Give them to the crew to wear as like bandanas.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Everyone's wearing shirt sleeves as bandanas around set.
I would love if there is out there somewhere a dress made of the sleeves that were cut off Dom's shirts. Just like
Fashion Week, Versace. Kendall Jenner
Week.
walks down the runway Gigi Hadid walks down the runway. No, Zendaya walks down the runway with a Vin Diesel sleeves from his shirts. It just starts a revolution.
But is there any other, like, how do I put this? Can you think of another character who is so well known for their fashion or their sleeveless shirts or something so mundane, but it's like who they are?
You know, that's a great point. I mean, James Bond has his tuxedos.
Yeah.
Right? So we have James Bond, who's known for that. You know, Mila Jovovich in the Resident Evil series changed up all of her wardrobe, so she doesn't have a specific theme. I mean, Scarlett Johansson has her like cat suit, but that's her superhero suit, not her everyday life. So yeah, I mean, as far as it comes to franchises this big, I don't know, Jigsaw, but no, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Outfit.
I mean, I don't know if he has good fashion sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Red and green.
But I mean, like you associate him with Corona, and I also want to say, in Fast 4, the Fast and Furious, Dom takes. We've talked about this for years about how he drinks Corona like a maniac. In Fast 4, he takes a huge swip of Corona, like unlike how humans drink alcohol from bottles, slams it up in the air, then he puts it down, and during the praying scene, you just see the Corona volcanoing over the glass lid. So I'm like, at least logic works as far as, you know, like nitrogen and gases released when you slug a beer like a maniac in the Fast and Furious world. So watch that scene, and you'll see a volcanoing Corona. It made me very happy. But no, I mean,
it's the only time in this series that gravity works the way it should.
There's this scene, man, where Letty is having a dream sequence of their wedding, and Dom's wearing a white tank top at their wedding. Like it's.
I mean, I thought it was actually her remembering her wedding, not just her having a dream sequence. It's actually their wedding. He wore that to it.
And I love too how Letty also wears sleeveless shirts. She's sort of become. She's her own person for sure. Like Michelle Rodriguez is a beast. Like, she has 3 movies that have made over $1 billion. So one behind Zoe Saldana, who's a monster. That's huge. But she becomes that, and then when he marries Elsa, remember Elsa Pataki, she started wearing sleeveless shirts. So I feel like if you're with Vin Diesel and Dom in these movies, you got to stop. If you're a couple, you have to dress alike, and you become a mini sleeveless shirt Dom in your relationship.
All right. Here's throughout this discussion, Mark, I have prop bets I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So one of them is going to be, will Little B wear a sleeveless shirt in this movie?
No, I think he's little. Like, I don't think he has the guns yet. Like, Brian O'Connor never wore a sleeveless shirt, so I don't see him doing that yet in this movie.
Okay. But Jordana Brewster did. I'm sure of that.
In the franchise, she wore a sleeveless shirt?
Somewhere. Yeah, she had to have. I
mean,
or maybe it's like a tank top.
She probably wore a dress without sleeves. I
don't feel like that's the same. I mean, we've already gone off the rails.
Yeah. But, like, I want to tell you something, though. I know Justin Lin stepped out this movie, and that's a bummer because you know how much I love Tokyo Drift. You know how much I love Fast 5 and Fast 6. But he said for his own sanity he needed to step away with this because he was having he was having big disagreements with Vin. So in comes Louis Leterrier, who's worked, you know, Statham's back in this movie. They work together on Transporter. And the one thing I hope about Fast 9 is my least favorite, I still love them, but my least favorite entries in the Fast franchise are the Fast and the Furious 4, the Fate of the Furious, and F9. Those are my least favorite. So I'm hoping that 10 can rebound a little bit. Because I was watching 9 again, David, and there's this scene where Vin's like, oh, this huge vehicle's chasing me. I'm going to turn on magnets. And he starts pulling random cars from a wildly busy street that just smack up. Like, what if a baby's in one of those? Like, I know in this world, no one's in it, right? In these cars. We can, like, he knows that. He's just so sure of that. But he's willy-nilly killing people that could be innocent. And so that hurt my soul. And in Fate of the Furious, they killed Elena. They just kill her because they're like, oh crap, Letty's back. We need to get rid of the baby mama. So like take her out. So I hope that this one can, with the introduction of all the new characters, all the Oscar winners, actual racing again. Like I hope that it sort of brings back the 6 and 7 vibes, not the 8 and 9 vibes. That's what I'm hoping for.
I agree with you. I think the series peaked at, it's like really 5, 6, and 7, and for me 5 is the best of the bunch. And I've been missing racing. Wanting to bring a little bit closer back to cars on the street, less guns, less super spy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I noticed in the trailer that I want to toss out there and get your opinion on. It has to be really hard to one up the previous films, right? They've already went to space. They went to space. And there's a scene in this trailer where a metal marble comes rolling down a hill after Dom, which I think is amazing. Like I love it so much. Someone watched that Volcano Mountain commercial or played that Volcano Mountain game when you were, what, 9? Do you remember this at all, Mark?
I don't, but I love metal marble. I'm just stuck on that.
Yeah. And one, it's a great thing. It's like, oh, Indiana Jones, but cars. And then there's a scene a little bit later where Dom is driving through what amounts to, like, I don't know, a wind tunnel. And what I ended up realizing was the metal marble was probably associated with the wind tunnel. It's probably an explosion. He's going through the wind. But taking that one level up, the Fast crew have never dealt with nature. Like maybe when they're out in the snow, but I didn't really count that. But I'm thinking like Fast and Furious in a hurricane, Fast and Furious in a tornado. Like they haven't done that. That's where they can go.
Yeah, like Hurricane Heist.
Exactly.
Which Rob Cohen directed, who directed the first Fast and Furious, or Twister. Yeah, they need to, like, remember Mad Max Fury Road when that gigantic sand just wave comes by and then they have to drive through that? They need to do that, but with a tsunami and their cars turn into car skis, not jet skis. Car skis.
I mean, someone's gonna have a submarine boat. Or a submarine car.
Yeah, I love that though. They do, like, put them in the Everglades, put them on some wind boats, and just have them shooting around. Like, have them deal with, oh man, they've never dealt with nature. Because Fast 4, they just drive through tunnels. Tokyo drifts a lot. Like, they go on a mountain. They don't have to worry about anything. 4, 5, never. 6, nope. 7, nope. 8, you're right, the ice, but they're just going in a straight line. 2, no. 1, you're right. So yeah, we need tornado. Fast 11, Twister.
Yeah, I think it would add a nice little hitch to everything.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And also, I have a very crazy theory for you about this trailer. Do you want to hear it?
I do.
So, remember in Hobbs and Shaw, there's a group called Etienne. They are a tech cult who want to augment humanity to make it a better place. They're just billionaires. And the director of Etienne tells Hobbs, the director goes, "You and I have a history, Hobbs. I'm coming after you." Now, as far as we know, Dwayne Johnson's not in this movie. But the villain of this film, Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, is the son of Hernan Reyes in Fast 5. That's his dad. So Hobbs is the one who kills Reyes in Fast 5. He just shoots him right in the chest, murders him. Now, Momoa's already in the water by this point because the safe hit him. Or, I'm sorry, Dante's Inferno. He's already in the water because of the safe hitting him. But he wants revenge. And in Hobbs and Shaw, he said, we have a past. Now, we're watching the scene in Fast 10 at the end when Michelle Rodriguez and Charlize Theron, two action icons who have been in some of the highest grossing action blockbusters of all time and have led franchises of action movies, they're battling. But when we first see them, they're strapped to gurneys. There's medical equipment everywhere. There's 3D printers everywhere. There's scanners. There are biometrics. What if Etienne gets involved? What if Hernan or Dante Reyes works for Etienne, who turned Idris Elba into Black Superman, and they are face swapping Letty and Cypher?
I'm so happy you brought this up because I also thought they were gonna face off each other. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, this is some type of face off situation.
And I looked at it to make sure that they hadn't already been face offed, but Letty is using her right hand in the fight, which she is right-handed, and I've never seen Cypher type before, but when she does type, she goes right hand first, which makes me believe she's right-handed. So they're both seem to be who they are. And also Letty's throwing her patented knees in this fight. Like Letty's a knee throwing maniac. So I can assume that they haven't been face swapped yet. But Cypher killed Dom's baby mama. Cypher is murdering everybody. Why would Cypher not face swap to go undercover? I mean, listen. First one, Brian's undercover. Second one, Eva Mendes is undercover. Letty goes undercover in 4. Like, everyone's undercover in these movies. So you have undercover themes prevalent in this film. Now there's a face-off. Literal and metaphorical.
I'd be super excited for that. I'm thinking I'm 100% on board. There's some type of swapping going on. I mean, I now it's making me think that Brie Larson's character is probably also face swapped or something during it.
Or she's Brian's sister.
Yeah, I heard that rumor too. If she would be Brian's sister, I think she is probably related to the Nobody crew in some form or fashion. But I kind of don't want Brian's sister.
There's too many.
There's too many, and honestly, this is probably gonna be sacrilege. I'm okay with a CGI Brian, but like CGIing his face and having one of Walker's brothers play him. Like I'm cool with that.
Like I don't know the ethics about it because clearly he can't do it. But I mean, if the family's involved and his brothers are involved, that makes it less icky. Like I don't.
It absolutely does.
But I also don't. I don't think Brian's needed. But the last thing I want though is a Uncanny Valley Brian. But I think maybe I've heard the budget for this movie is over 300 mil.
What? No,
yeah.
I thought it was 200 million, maybe.
Well, because Justin Lin dropped out, so then they started doing second unit, and it was over $1 million a day. So it took several weeks just to get Louis back on set, and he had to rewrite the third act of the film after not sleeping for days, and he wrote it on the flight over with supreme jet lag. And so he rewrote the third act of this film. You have all the cars, all the stunt players, all the visual effects, all the actors who are making tons of money just waiting. So I think between that delay and just the massive, they go all around the world for this. They have Dom standing up in front of the Coliseum, gladiators. Like, so it's easy that this could be I mean, Black Adam cost 250, 60 million. So it's easy to see why this would cost 300. But it's, I don't know what my point was. Where was I going? Where was I? This is a very expensive movie. The budget's high. Visual effects. Oh, so yeah, I mean, there's potential though that they can pull off a convincing Brian with the budget. But I don't, just give me like a background Brian, right? Just give me, I don't want him part of the crew. Cause there's so much people in this movie now.
Yeah. It's like 12 people. You care about them all.
You have returning Fast Five people. He's visiting Helen Mirren. He's dealing with Rita Moreno. Larson's in here. Theron's back in here. You got Momoa peacocking everywhere. You have the original crew. Letty. I like that Letty's adopted motorcycles since Fury. I like new Letty. After her brain injury, she became a motorcycle maniac, which makes me happy. But yeah, there's so many people in this movie. And the dude from, Reacher from Amazon is in it.
Yeah. He's huge.
Huge. It's so many people. So where does Brian fit in this?
Well, the thing with me is, at the end of Fast 7, he drives off to do his own thing. But then they continue to tease him. So if he never showed up again, I'd be okay. But at the end of 8, you see his car pull up.
9. He pulls up for the barbecue.
Yeah, it's like his story's still going. I'd almost just rather not have him around at all. But because you're teasing him constantly, I want to know. And here's a prop bet: will he show up in this movie? Will Brian be a character in this?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to be as a flashback or current. He's already in flashback. We know that from the trailer.
Flashback. Dealing with Brie Larson, or maybe he's a nobody person, or Han's talking about her, or something, or him. One of them, he will feature not just a flashback will feature. I'm thinking.
A new scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think so too. I don't think they're having the current. And what I really think is happening here is that they're going to save him for 10. They're going to save him till he absolutely cannot. If they're finishing up this saga, he's going to come in as a Deus Machina at the end.
Has to.
Yeah. Another prop bet. Will one of the main characters die?
I don't think at this point you need to. They killed off Jesse in 1. In 4 they supposedly killed off. In 3 they supposedly killed off Han. In 4 they supposedly killed off Letty. And 6, they actually killed off Giselle. 7, I don't think there's many deaths. 8, because you already had Brian dying, so you don't want to kill off many people in 7. Elena died in 8. Roman's already joking about being a superhero in 9. So like to make a death matter, you can't kill off a Tej or a Ramsey or a Roman. Like you'd have to kill off a major. You can't kill off Michelle Rodriguez again. You could maybe kill John Cena because that's the brother, but you can't kill Han again. You're not going to kill off Vin. So I don't know who you could kill. Like, you're not going to kill Jordana Brewster. Like, oh, we'll just kill off Jordana Brewster so we don't have to deal with Brian anymore. Like, no, you're not. They're not going to do that. Like, I don't think it's necessary.
It's Shaw or Jacob. Like, that's for me. Those are the two that you would want to kill off. And honestly, it's probably Shaw more than Jacob.
Absolutely. And yeah, I just don't think it's necessary. And it's nice to see Statham back. I like having him back in the world, Uncle Statham, even though he's a mass murderer. Remember in Furious 7, he kills all those guards? Those are innocent guards.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about how Dom killed a bunch of people too.
Oh, dude, they're mass murderers at this point. You know what I miss the most about the lack of Paul Walker is he grounded the film. So he's the one who is, you watch him and Roman, they're always giving each other hugs, and in Fast 6, they're joking around all the time, and Roman's like, hey, man, when'd you get so pretty? Talking about the blonde lady who is his doppelganger. And, like, 2, he's so injured he can't even get out of his car. And 4, he just gives a dose of humanity to the world, which I think is sorely lacking now between Fate of the Furious 9 and 9. Like, there's no, like, sensitivity. There's no Brian. And I think that is a big gulf.
Yeah. And I don't know how you fix it because they're not bringing in more characters like that. Mm-hmm. They're just getting more and more macho.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more. I mean, look at Fate of the Furious. You have Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham like, I'm gonna beat you like a Cherokee drum, and like just not losing fights anymore. That's why Roman's my favorite new character now, and Ramsey. Like watching her wham in the cars because she doesn't really know how to drive, and just sort of bamming. Like that's one of my favorite moments of 9. And then also just watching Roman go into space. So I was pulling the data for Fast 9, and when Tej and Roman hit space, and dude, Lucas Black from Tokyo Drift can now fly cargo airplanes. But yeah, watching them go into space and then just all the candy bars fly, like that's what I miss about the Fast 9. It's just Roman being an idiot. Like I miss the idiots in this franchise, and it's becoming less and less about the idiots and more about just brawn and kind of dour family. Like, I don't want it to be Empire Strikes Back. I want it to be New Hope.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think you're going to get that,
no.
Eric.
Yeah.
Because if you think of like story structure, you have to have
you're right.
the downward spiral, right? Before you can climb out. And so I'm pretty sure someone's going to die in this movie. At the very least, I think they're going to fail. So like they might be trying to save Rome, and that thing that explodes is destroying Rome. They just lose. Because they've never lost, have they? They've.
Let's see. When you said Rome, I'm like, are they killing Tyrese? No. So have they lost? Well, the Fast and the Furious, they lose. That trucker takes them out, and then he has to leave.
The trucker does take them out.
Too Fast, Too Furious, they win. Tokyo Drift, he wins. Fast 4, Dom's in jail. Dom's going to jail at the end of Fast 4, so they lost there. Fast 5,
the revenge.
Fast 5, they win. Fast 6 is sad because Giselle's dead. That barbecue's okay, but everyone's pretty depressed in that. Furious 7 ends depressingly because Paul Walker's death. Fate of the Furious, happy. F9, they're pretty happy again. So, yeah, I guess you know what? They've lost a few times, this crew. Huh.
I'm thinking they lose pretty hard in this one.
Are you excited for the Han Deckard Shaw reunion?
Finally, yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. I want to see how Statham handles it, his character, because Statham has a lot of charm to him, and I can see him like having a bad day. I was having a bad day, and then I just murdered 50 people.
Like, listen, Han. Prior to murdering you, I went to my brother's hospital and I killed many innocent guards and doctors and nurses. So don't take it personally. You know what I mean? Like, he injured my brother, so I go after you. This is another angry family member. They're just keep pissing off family members, and they're just coming after him. So I don't think Han's gonna take it personally. I just hope that Sun Kang gets a moment to shine, like he does in 5 and 6 and 3. I hope he can kind of, yeah. I just hope he gets a moment to shine in this one.
It looks like it because it looks like he's going to be driving at some point through Rome, doing whatever his sliding thing is.
Being chased by the metal marble.
The metal marble, yeah.
And like this guy, he's coming after him, right? He's like, you have a beautiful life, you have a beautiful family. I'm gonna take that from you because you took it from me. Now let's kind of explore that because in Fast 5, Vince gets them a job. They get on the train. Mia and Brian and Dom realize that they've been kind of double-crossed and they were going to be killed for the cars. But I mean, they're working for a drug dealer. That's not really a double-cross when you work for a drug dealer. And so then they're like, okay, well, this guy, Vince is the one who set us up for this, but we're going to go and take all of Reyes's money because this job went sour. A drug dealer, one of the biggest cartel drug dealers on the planet, it didn't live up to his word, so now we're going to go get revenge on him. And so they get revenge on him. They take out Dante. So I guess Dante's rich, right? Dante comes from millions of...
Yeah, has to. Yeah, he has a lot of money.
Plenty of money and resources. We also know that Dante, in 6, Luke, what's the other? Owen Shaw was recruited by Cypher. We know that Braga was recruited by Cypher. So he could have been out in the middle of nowhere and Cypher recruits him. And then he becomes that, just training for this day. So he's been lurking around. But it's fair though. Like you and I, David, we're Paul and David Smith, and our dad was the biggest drug dealer in the United States. Someone kills him. We're going to want revenge on them. So
yeah, absolutely.
You can't be mad at Dante in this movie in a twisted way because he's like, you killed everybody who loved me, and you didn't even have to do it. You just did it. So now I want you dead. So it's kind of interesting, this villain we have now, who is, you get why he's pissed off. And
he's sort of the inverse of the crew, right?
Yeah.
We can't forget, for a lot of these films, they were bad guys too. They had a code, but they were literally villains, like stealing and doing whatever.
They were thieves before they were anything. Yeah. Oh. Do you think Momoa is going to turn good?
Oh, I hope not. I really hope not. There's just too many characters. I want him to stay bad. I would love if he survived this movie and was in the next one, so there's just a continuity for the two final. No, I really don't. I really don't think he's going to.
Do you think Mr. Nobody's going to be the villain?
I think Mr. Nobody's going to be dead, honestly.
Got it. Because there's a theory about Mr. Nobody being the ultimate villain. But I don't see that.
That'd be weird.
Yeah. Oh, well, right?
Yeah, like he worked with Cypher. Like, come on.
Just let Cypher, Cypher got a nuclear submarine and was threatening nuclear war. Like, they're pretty powerful. You don't need a shadowy government agency now. And you have Etienne floating around. And Shaw is back, so they tie the world together. It's all there. You don't need more, I guess. And yeah, I hope he doesn't turn either, because then that's like too much alpha. And it pushes Tej, it pushes Roman out of the way.
Yeah. We're already in danger of that now.
Yeah. I mean, the digression of Roman's character has been so severe that you just feel for the guy, because him and Brian were like best buds, and they had good moments together. But now he's just there for humor.
Which is for face.
Yeah, they're talking about his forehead, and like one of my favorite lines where he's like, I can smell baby oil. Why do I smell that? And then Dwayne Johnson comes walking into the room. That makes me really happy. And Furious 6. But all right, so what are you hoping to get out of this movie? Like what are you hoping to get out of Fast 9 or Fast 10? I'm sorry, your seatbelt.
That's a hard question. I mean, for me, I want to return to racing, which I think we get.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to scale back the Marvelification of this series a little bit, because how many times have they saved the world in a row? It's like 5, 6, 7. I just need to pull it back. The stakes are not as high because you can't. If you're saving the world every single time, the stakes get boring. But it's always about the same things. I want just a ton of dumb stunts that make no sense, that follow the rule of cool, and Dom leading it. like that's it. And from the trailer, I'm telling you, I've seen a bunch. Like I was actually like, are they showing too much? But I trust them because they've done this before. I thought the same thing in number 9 and number 8, and they have new stuff every time.
Absolutely. So the director called this, he said it's the fastest telenovela of all time. And I hope it's that.
Yeah,
like, I really do. I hope it is just family, revenge, big villains, car races. Like, so, you live your life a quarter mile at a time. That's a 10-second race. But I love that these races take 48 seconds, by the way. It's like, technically these cars go 23 miles an hour. But it's, I don't know. I just hope that I just want it to go. It will never go back. Like, I can't. Like, Mission Impossible can never go back to the De Palma first film. Like, Marvel can't go back to just being Robert Downey Jr. eating cheeseburgers. Like, I understand the progression of franchises, but I don't know. I want this just to be. I want it to just. I don't know. I just want it to be fun and not feature wanton innocent civilians being slaughtered like in Fast 9. And I want to say, though, whoever built that tank in Fast 9, I would hire, because that gigantic tank thing, it blows up, it gets flipped by a magnet, it rolls upside down for about 7 miles, and then it flips 6 or 7 times, and then Dom drives it away, and then it gets hit by 2 missiles, and then it falls a long way, and Dom lives. So whoever built that, props, because that's a wonderful vehicle. Do you think Elle from Fast 9 is going to be back? Do you remember her?
Who is she again?
She was the one that so Han was targeted to do a job for Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
And then he saved Elle in the process. Do you think that she'll be back in a major role? Because she had a pretty big role in the other one.
I don't think so. I feel like they are working overtime to do a spin-off so they can do another movie with Michelle Rodriguez leading it.
Oh,
or at least involved. Oh, I love it. We should do a podcast just on Michelle Rodriguez. I love her.
Bro, like Widows, Resident Evil, Avatar, Dungeons and Dragons. She's a beast.
Yeah,
she's a beast.
She's great.
It bums me out that more people aren't like, hey, that she, like, she has 3 movies that made over $1 billion.
Yeah, she's really good. People don't give her enough credit.
It's annoying. So I don't see Elle in the cast. So I just don't think, like, so I feel kind of bad. Like, I feel like she was sort of brought in, and we're never gonna look back on that.
I mean, she might show up in like a one scene, but again, like, if they brought her in to set the character up for a sequel or a spinoff with a lady heist crew, I mean, I'm telling you, that would be pretty awesome. Michelle Rodriguez led heist crew with Cypher, Elle, and Jordana Brewster
from like Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh yeah, I would. And being led, Queenie would be leading it.
Hattie from Hobbs and Shaw comes back.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That sounds great.
I love all that cast too. Jeez Louise. But listen, I think this trailer, I think it's a lot of fun. It knows what it is. I guess at this point, I know I've had some complaints and worries about it, but all it has to do is make sense. And I think Louis Leterrier is good at that. Like Clash of the Titans made sense. And listen, I know that's a weird thing for me to say, but this is the 10th film in a franchise that has a $300 million budget that lost its director in the first few weeks, and it expanded its cast. So when I say I just want it to make sense, that's a tall order, David. Like, I don't
know if it's going to.
I'm not looking for Aliens. I'm not looking for Mad Max Fury Road. I'm looking for Fast 10 to just make sense and be fun. That's it.
Or while we're still talking about this, I wanted to go through my favorite moments of the trailer.
Oh yes, let's do it.
All right. I have 4. And do you have yours? You want to go back and forth?
Roll through your 4, then I'll roll through my 4.
Okay, I'm gonna actually go from 4 to 1. So 4, Dom destroying helicopters with his car. Like, does that make sense? Absolutely not. That would never work. But I love that it brings back the carpoons, which are an element that have stayed with the entire
Yeah.
franchise. I love it. I love that every movie has a carpoon in it.
A
Um,
NOS powered harpoon.
yep. Number 3 is, you mentioned this earlier, Letty has turned into a motorcycle head, and the stunt where she jumps over the I don't know,
Yeah.
gate, the small gate, knee-high gate, was awesome. I want more stunts like that because we have some, but that could be a good way to change things up. 2, Death Marble. I
Death
just love the
Marble.
idea of the Death Marble, like big metal Death Marble. And number 1, this is it, peak Fast and Furious. Cena body slamming a guy through a wooden floor.
Yeah. And then he
Like,
falls
do you know
into
how much
another floor.
force?
And
Yeah.
he punches through a door into someone else's face as well. He just drills his way through there. Okay, so I'm up, huh? So we have the wind machine weapon, so I don't know what that is. I don't think that's nature, but that's pretty cool. But I'm gonna say, watching Dom stand up like he's in a Michael Bay movie in front of the Coliseum, like a gladiator, it's, come on.
Yeah, I get it. It's like it could be terrible, but this is what you're there to see.
All right. So then there's that. Oh man, I'll try to stay away from the ones that you have. I'll say at the end when you do the classic, you have 4 people racing and it cuts to all 4 people looking at each other. That's really cool. Like that brings me back to Fast and Furious. That brings me back to Too Fast, Too Furious. Even Fast 5, the way they shot that. So I'm gonna say that one, and then I'm gonna say 3. I would say the Han Shaw reunion. I think that's gonna be pretty interesting because, I mean, justice for Han, right? You bring him back. It'll be fun to see them, and also their energies are so different. Sung Kang's has a chill vibe, and then Statham can do larger than life. He can do super sarcastic, so it'll be fun to watch them together. Okay, and then I mean, there's a rocket car in this movie, which like John Cena's just shooting rockets. Also, too, when Dom when he jumps while attached to those 2 helicopters, I think the helicopters would just fly away with him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I agree.
they wouldn't sink. And then finally, I think it's just like, I love when Letty is tied down on a table and she's like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like I love her delivery in that. Like it's just so sarcastic and perfectly Michelle Rodriguez. And then listen, this is a $300 million movie, and the finale of the first trailer showcases 2 action legends going to war. Like it's not Dom and Momoa. The ending of this trailer is Letty and Cypher brawling, and I love that about the trailer. It's gonna be a good fight. They're legends in the action game, but I just love Michelle Rodriguez kind of droll reading, so I'm gonna do that one. That's my number 4.
Yeah. So overall, good trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You got the Corona, you have the sleeveless shirts, you have the racing, you have the NOS, there's hugs, there's mentions of family, there's butt shots, there's, let's see, there's fights, there's a metal marble floating around. So I think what's nice about this is that there's physically impossible jumps, which is a part of this. There's multiple countries, which is what a staple of this franchise now. So I think it showcases all the tropes that people want out of their fast movies in this trailer, and I think they know their audience as well, but it's still quite ambiguous as to what is going to happen. So yeah, I think it's a solid trailer.
Yeah, I do too. I have some more bets I want to run by you.
Okay.
Will Dom's mother drive a car? Grandmother, excuse me.
I mean, Helen Mirren drove a car in F9, so Rita Moreno, yeah.
I mean, I want her to. I want her to drive a car. It'd be amazing.
A Lamborghini at the end, just Rita Moreno plowing through like 120. Yes.
Spin parks.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Mama Moreno, Grandma Toretto is gonna drive that.
Over under or how many times will Dom say family in this movie?
So you know what's interesting? In most of the films, he's not the one who says family the most. Like Mia says family a lot. Deckard Shaw says family a lot. Hobbs says family a lot. There's a scene where Hobbs says family 3 times in a row, I believe, in Fast 5 or 6. So you mess with my family. Like other people have talked about that. So Dom, he says family, but it's once or twice in a movie. So I'm gonna give him, since this is 10, I'm gonna give him 4 families.
4 families.
It's a
Do you
lot.
want to do overall movie?
Okay, so Fast and Furious 6 has 11 families. Hobbs and Shaw has 13. How many families does Fast 9 have? I actually have all this information. Let me pull it. Oh, here it is. Fast and Furious 9. Let me pull up the data. Fast and Furious 9 has how many families? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 families. So I'm going to say 10. Like, so get this. In Fast 9, Rooker, Mirren, Otto, L, Dom's dad, and then Dom only says family once in Fast 9. So yeah, let's do 10 families.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably about right with all these characters.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. After credit scene, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be one of those too. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's going to be mid credit. Yeah, it has to be.
Okay. And then finally, before we started recording, Mark, we talked about.
It's going to be Giselle.
It's going to be Giselle who shows up. I don't think she's going to show up. I think it would do a disservice for this series if Giselle showed up here. Like, you have to have some death.
Where have
right?
you been all these years? I had to hide from you.
You just have to have a main character who has died to keep the stakes high.
Wait, you had
just
amnesia
bring
too?
everyone back.
Yeah.
What?
I said you had amnesia too? Like that's why you haven't been here?
I've been watching you from afar.
That was a really long runway. I've been walking for a long time.
So the final thing I wanted to mention is time in Fast and Furious is wonky, right? Like it's really difficult to pin down. What I think would be interesting for a project is figuring out how old Dom is supposed to be. I don't know if it's possible.
I had it. I wish you would have asked me this because I figured out his age. I did. I had the numbers on his age. Like we did this during I did a Last Witch Hunter episode with the Too Fast Too Forever crew. And in there I did, so he's younger in this movie than Dom is younger than Vin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so Vin right now is Vin Diesel age. I don't think people know. 55. Okay. So he's 55. So I think Dom might be a solid 8-9 years younger.
Yeah.
So then
I started to do the math too because like he went to jail when he was 16, spent 2 years in jail, so that's 18, and then Brian probably showed up 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe he was, because that was 2001. Now it's 2023. He had to have been maybe 25-ish, give or take a couple of years in that scene.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think so now he's in his late 40s.
Well, you got me, Mark. I thought we were going to get a good episode on his age, and Mr. Data has all this good stuff. Do you have any data you want to share with your listeners that you haven't already?
Well, I don't want to give away everything. I do have the sleeveless shirt data coming out. I'm going to have a video for the Honest trailer coming out, so I don't want to give away that data. But yeah, I'm working on. I've also figured out that Fast 6 is still the most Fast and Furious of all the Fast and Furious movies.
That's still a great piece.
And
love it.
I mean, I guess I could update it, but I don't think F8 or F9 even really come close because they're really not about racing. They're just more about chaos and explosions. So yeah, Fast 6 is still that, but I don't want to give away my data. I know that's bad.
And I'm wondering if like you can pitch any other ones you've done. I think you just finished them.
Oh, well, I wrote about the Corona one, but Corona only gets consumed when people are in California. That's the only time you ever see Corona. But no, I got good data. I don't want to share it yet, but I will. You and I, how about this? When I release the data, you and I will do an episode about it.
Awesome.
All right.
How many calories does Roman eat in each movie?
I would love, because you know how many candy bars he had in space?
Yeah, a lot. Right.
So before we get out of here, I just want to do something real quick. You are going on a Bloodshot style mission where you're all superheroes and you get to drive around in an Airstream in a nice van and you get to pick 4 Fast and Furious characters it's you and 4 Fast and Furious characters to go drive around the country and stop crime. Which ones are you going to pick?
I think this is going to be counterintuitive, We're gonna go back and forth or just
We'll go back and forth.
okay. Yeah, I'm picking Jason Statham number one. He's a super spy.
Yeah.
Like so that fight in Seven when they fought each other. Dom didn't really win. He took advantage of the parking lot.
Yeah.
So Dom's a better driver for sure, but I'm fairly certain that in rematches Shaw would beat him.
He has resources everywhere. He has secret identities everywhere. That's a perfect pick. I'm going to keep with the Bloodshot theme, and I'm going to pick Madam M because it's Eiza Gonzalez. But she gets, in Hobbs and Shaw, she gets them a jet. Just a jet. In like 3 hours. And tons of machine guns. Has a whole crew. So that's my first pick. She's going to be, because she seems like she could get anything. It was either her or Kevin Hart, because he got them a cargo airplane in 3 hours. Like, they're very resourceful human beings. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Madam M.
Yeah.
Who's your second?
This is so hard. Ramsey. You need a person behind the chair.
Oh, yeah.
So she's the one who's doing the hacking. Shaw is going to be the muscle. All right.
Whoa. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to take Ramsey, too, because you need the computer person.
Yeah. The question is it Ramsey or is it Tej? And it's Ramsey because Tej is more like an engineer.
Exactly. All right. So I'm going to take Ramsey as well. So that's mine.
That's a good one.
Who's your third?
All right. So as I'm putting my crew together, I think you need a driver. And in this world, it's either Dom or Brian. They go back and forth. Man, we've never had a discussion on who we think's a better driver.
Brian.
Yeah, it is Brian. That's who I think too, easily.
Brian won the race in Furious 6. He's in in the beginning and remember in Furious 6 when his car got hit with that electronic thing and he remembered it from the second one? So he spins his car, knocks off the thing, and then he keeps driving. Like, he is Dom's muscle. Dom's straight ahead. I think Brian and Letty are probably the better drivers.
Yeah, I think so too. Dom has a muscle car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Brian. Yeah, number 3.
So I'm gonna take Han because he's super chill, bro. He's just chill, and he's a good driver. And he'll just be in the back munching, hanging out. Like, you're never gonna argue about music with Han. Han's just cool, and he'll have good wisdom for you. So I'm gonna take Han. Who's your fourth?
Hard one. So I have muscle, car, smarts.
Yep.
And now I need the infiltrator. Person who I built a thieving team by accident, by the way. And that's Roman. It has to be Roman. You send Roman in. He's good on his feet, probably more so than everyone else. Yeah, it's Roman.
Remember in 5 when he drops off the box and he just annoys the guy, and then in 7 he brings up that lady for happy birthday in the most awkward moment in the entire franchise when he's just like making everybody uncomfortable. Oh gosh, that's so good. Okay, so I have I need a fighter. I need a tank. So let's see who's left. So in F9 we have that. Let's see. I'm gonna take Roman too because he's invincible.
Yeah.
He had 14 bullets in his jacket in F9. He survived space, and he can drive and he can fight.
Yeah. He's not like great. He's a good driver, but he's not like top tier in anything. But he's a jack of all trades.
Exactly. And
except for his charisma. His charisma's really high.
He might be a little annoying in the car, but he's just cool. He'll be munching. Him and Han are always eating, so they're happy. Yeah, that's my crew. That's it.
Is it odd that neither of us picked Dom?
No, Dom's a bore. He is, man.
Yeah.
Dom in Fast 5 and Fast and the Furious, he had a lot. Like, if this was first Fast and Furious, Dom would be cool because he would be like a neat mentor. Remember how cool of a mentor he was in that? Like, he was the Swayze, but he's not that anymore. So I don't want that.
I get that. And then I realized I didn't pick Michelle Rodriguez. I love her. She could, I guess, take the Brian spot too, but her character is too aggressive. Like, you're going to need someone who's a little bit more suave if you're going all around the world.
She's not a team player either. She wouldn't want to be in a caravan with us all the time.
She'd be driving behind on our bike.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one of these people has to be the superpowered one, so you get to pick.
Oh, so one of them gets a superpower. I mean, their superpower is cars. So.
oh, we're the superpowered ones. That's why we're in it.
Or this, so wait, just so I understand, we have to give them superpowers, or I get one of them gets a superpower.
No, let's stick with us with the superpowers, because then there's no reason for us to be there.
Oh, got it. We're on the team too. All right. I'm stumped because I never think about like what superpower I want.
Well, we just have the nanobots. We're Bloodshots.
Okay, we're Bloodshots. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Now I understand what's going on. I was just like, I'll put a crew together.
But I'm really happy we picked Ramsey though, because she could probably hack into like our system and fix the nanobots.
Yeah, Ramsey is 100% underrated. Will she drive a car fast in this next movie?
Yeah, I think she's gotten better at driving now.
I still want that gag to continue.
Yeah.
You know, like she's just not good at it.
I've really learned that the human moments are my favorite. In the like when characters are not when Dom forgets about a bullet or Hobbs sweats a lot and busts through walls. My favorites are just Rowan eating candy bars, can't find change, like the car, like that's my favorite stuff. So I love it.
Yeah.
Actually, Hattie would be a pretty. I don't know if Hattie would put up with us. Hattie seems like Shaw. I don't know. Traveling with the Shaw would be interesting. Would Deckard let you listen to in a station you wanted?
No. No. He would butt heads with everyone, right?
Him and Roman in a car together.
Yeah, that's comedy gold.
Yeah, you're right. That'd be amazing. All right. Well, hey, David, this, it's a 3-minute thing. We ended up talking for about 50 minutes. So we can find so much gold in the Fast world, and that's why I brought you in for this. This was lovely.
This is great. Are you going to cover Fast 10 with one of your crew? Not necessarily me. I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want in, you can have it.
Yeah. Depending on my time, yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Okay. So you'll be first pick. And then if you can't, there's plenty of other, like Megan could just jump on with me any day. She's watched all these. So this was great, man. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at awardwinners.com. You can find me on Twitter at It's Me David Cross. I am the co-host of the Award Winners podcast. We watch Oscar-winning best movies, and we pair it with a hot dog. We most recently did our Oscar prediction episode, and I'm thrilled to say I won that one.
You won the MFF Oscars poll.
I won the MFF one, and I won the Oscar poll for my office. I was 3 for 3 this year. Has not happened yet. I watch a lot of Oscar movies.
You went 20 for 23.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. The picking Brendan Fraser over Austin Butler was the clincher for me. And then in my heart I wanted Angela Bassett to win, and I picked her, even though I didn't think she was actually going to. I just like maybe it's a long shot and she would.
Yeah, after SAG, the momentum swung for the Everything Everywhere actors, and then Jamie Lee Curtis got it. But I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis has been around since the late 70s. Like, I wanted Bassett to win, but like it's hard to begrudge Jamie Lee Curtis because she put in so much work for Everything Everywhere all at once. And a lot of people they're like, oh, she just sat there. But I watched it again, and she has a much bigger role than I remembered.
Yeah,
it should have been Bassett's year, but I wasn't mad when Jamie Lee Curtis won. I even said she would because I felt like it's weird. Hollywood, it's just about the momentum. It's an odd thing.
And that's what makes Everything Everywhere All at Once so interesting, because it released in March, February in 2022, and just kept going.
I think it just appealed to so many different people. I think the younger generation kept it going. A24 was really savvy with its marketing. Did a good job. I'm not going to buy a $40 pet rock though. I did buy Marcel. All right, David, let's get out of here, man. This was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for David Cross, this is Movie Sounds Flicks. We'll see you next week.